I would like to give you something with that video, something that helped me during the recovery after septal myectomy, after open heart surgery, and I hope that you don't hear those voices on the streets, but I hope that really what I hope is that you will find some value in that, that you will feel understood, taken care of, that you will feel that you have some resources, some view on what is happening, and that seems important. A lot of people whom I met that went through the open heart surgery very often did that without any preparation, without any mental frame, and unfortunately it doesn't end up well very often. Open heart surgery is a big mental burden, and the more time passes, the more it becomes obvious to me. And it's been almost 5 months after my surgery, and a lot of things are amazing, but a lot of things are not. And I went through a lot. That's a lot of things to digest, to understand, to figure out. And if you go through this process, you also have a lot of things to figure out. And the worst thing that can happen is that because of the pain, physical or emotional, people close themselves. They distract themselves. They rely too much on painkillers, on alcohol, and in the end, it's not going well. The surgeon may think that she saved someone's lives, but in reality, the life of this patient is not the same quality as before. And we need to break that cycle. We need to understand what is happening to us. And a lot of people undergoing through the surgery have amazing community, friends, family, and that's so important. But yet, I believe it's very important to understand what is happening inside, to don't get crazy, and to slowly move through those hard days. In this video, I wanted to share you the titles of amazing books that helped me to create this mental frame that I'm using so far, that seems to be effective, that seems to be helpful, and that's why I wanted to share those titles with you. And in between those titles, I will also share what is there more or less, so you could pick the title that suits you right now the most. I will start from the book that seems to be the most important for me, which is Letting Go by Hawkins. And I believe that's the first line of defense from the problems here. And it's because it perfectly illustrates how brain works, how emotions, how thinking works. And it all comes down to the notion that your thinking, your thoughts is completely based on how you feel. And if you feel bad in your body because of the pain, because of shortness of breath, because of stiffness, your thinking will not be pleasant. And fighting with those thoughts, overthinking, analyzing them, there is no use in that. The only thing that is helpful is to look inside and sit with those feelings that are uncomfortable until they are not uncomfortable anymore. If we are angry, the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to sit with that anger and not necessarily act on that, because it rarely gives any resolution. As in this book it's perfectly explained, acting on emotions, talking about them, only releases part of the energy behind the emotion, not the emotion itself. And that is why, firstly, finding a centered space, place, time during the day where you feel calm, where you feel taken care of, where you feel balanced. During that time, allow yourself to feel whatever comes and sit with that, surrendering to that, allowing this go in its own tempo. Without resistance, these emotions, these feelings will disappear at some point, because they have to. There is no way that a certain emotion will stay with you forever. It's just impossible. If something bothers you for months or years, it's because you may resist that, or you may have a certain conviction about that, which blocks the natural flow of this feeling. This book perfectly illustrates how to go through the crisis, which is basically taking one part of the problem at a time and focusing only on a certain small part of the problem and letting go that bit by bit instead of trying to bite big chunk. That doesn't work. We choke on that. We may have a feeling that we will almost explode, or we cannot sit with that if it's too much. But we can always eat one chunk at a time. Second book that comes to my mind is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and this book teaches you how to be in the present moment, which you may think you are in the present moment, but in reality you are not. For example, when I sit here and when I talk with you, I have no problems. I have no problems at all. There is no immediate danger. I don't feel any of the symptoms that my heart is causing me, or I don't have any perception of any problems from the surgery. I am sitting perfectly fine right now. This is my centered, relaxed place. If I am anxious, it's probably because I'm living in the future and I'm expecting something, anticipating something. I have a vision of myself that I'm not right now, and this causes me to suffer. The same level of suffering, or even more of suffering, can cause living in the past, which for me could be giving too much attention to what happened, giving too much value to what happened, even though it was a big deal. It was 5 months ago when I had the surgery. It was 7 months ago when I had this heart episode that almost finished me, but it didn't. Life moves on. Life moves on. People move on. My career move on. My family move on, and I cannot use this experience in the past as an excuse. Even though it was important for me, I have to let go of this importance, because without that, I will always be unhappy, because there was this big episode that changed my life, and it was intense, and there were bad moments, there were good moments, and it was so intense that a regular life right now feels understimulating. It feels like after the storm that, wow, it was so much, and now it's like nothing. It may feel like after the massive drama. There was a massive drama, a lot of emotions, and we like our emotions, and now it's peaceful. What to do with that? And that's something that I am going through as well. So finding my peace in present moment, in little joys, in noticing that everything is fine now. Yes, that's a big deal. And that's why it's on the second place, and that's why I recommend this book to everyone. Number 3 will be Viktor Frankl, The Man's Search of Purpose, if I remember correctly. This book is written by a Holocaust survivor that has an amazing message. If you can find some meaning in that suffering, it's not suffering anymore. This man went through the Holocaust, one of the worst experiences that a human can imagine, and yet he still was able to find the value in that and the lessons in that helped him to move on, to find meaning, to move on through that. And for me, recording those videos is partially that. Those episodes there, one by one, this whole story there. I'm glad that you're watching that, and I would be really glad if it would help you. But yet, it's more for me than for you, which is slightly selfish, but it's exactly like that. If I cannot make a meaning out of that experience, if I cannot find the way how I can help others, then what's the point? Then this suffering would have no meaning. It would be something heavy that I would carry with myself, and that's not something that I want. If at least one person in this comment section, under any of the video, would say that it helped them to any extent, then it was worth it. Then hours spent recording and editing that was worth it, and I'm fine with that. And for each person and for you, this will be a completely different experience, a completely different lesson, and you will find it in your own way, in your own pace. The reality is that there is no 100% evil experience, and even in the worst things, there are good things, and we need to find them. And without accepting those good things, we cannot move on through the worst ones. We have to be honest with ourselves and find those. 3 books, you will have plenty of time to familiarize with them if you are preparing for the surgery. If you're after the surgery, you still have 2 or 3 months to read them afterwards, so just go for it. Let me know, what do you think about them? What do you think about the content in those books once you read them? I am very interested what you're gonna say. Thanks for listening and have a good one.